So, on December 17th, 2017, we set out to learn Spanish and Italian simultaneously from scratch.
Through this challenge, we're trying to see if learning two languages at the same time from the same family will actually help someone to learn the languages faster together.
We're also going to be using Mango Languages as the online app that we use. We are using also any other kind of resources we want to use, like books, but we haven't really done that yet.
We've basically only done Mango so far.
And we also have some tutors that we've started meeting with once a week, which you'll hear about in this video. But other than that, we want to see what the level a person can probably get themselves to if they go through the whole Mango Languages course, and we will be taking an exam to get you exact numbers at the end of this.
Now, for anybody who's unfamiliar, Mango Languages is a website and app that uses phrases to teach you a language through conversation. So basically, it'll take these phrases and break them down over the lesson, and it uses space-based repetition to introduce you to these concepts and sounds over time.
We are about to go into our second Spanish lesson, and I figured that before we did, I would just give you guys a few updates on things that have happened to me in the past few days. So since we got to school, I've been definitely much slower with moving through the Mango course and studying in general. I haven't really done anything other than Mango, but I've been moving really slowly through that course. But I have kind of worked out a better system for myself, I think, for maintaining my languages during the semester. So hopefully over the next week or so, I'll manage to kind of implement that in a way that means that I'm moving my way through the course. But I'm taking an Italian cinema course this semester. It's not a language course by any means. It's just a film history course that focuses on Italy. But it means that I'm watching a lot of Italian films, and I'm watching them with English subtitles because I have to make sure that I understand them and they're not easy necessarily movies. But I have found that I'm picking up on a lot of things, like just at least hearing things that I know. When people come in and introduce themselves, that sort of thing, I'm like, I know what you're saying. But I've started jotting down notes in my notebook while we're watching films in class.
Italiano.
So I just learned a bunch of random phrases like that, which is nice. And then also, I got to have a little Spanish conversation the other day. There's someone on my film program who speaks Spanish, and we were walking back from class, and she just casually started speaking Spanish to me. So I got to practice a little bit. It was a very brief conversation, and nothing really advanced, but still, it's always nice to get to use languages. So we just wrapped up our second Italian lesson, so we've done both of our second lessons for the languages.
I think it's very visible at this point that our Italian is lagging behind the Spanish, but I think we kind of determined that last episode, that just the way the courses are designed, you kind of get further in the Spanish one quicker. So I think now we just need to kind of adapt our strategies so we can stay near our Spanish, because that was our goal. So I don't know how we're going to combat that. What do you think?
We figured it out a little bit. So yesterday before our Spanish lesson, we'd only completed chapter 16 of Unit 2, but then we did up to chapter 19 in Italian before this lesson. Since our Italian lesson is a day later, we just kind of skipped ahead in that, and I have to catch up now in Spanish, but I think us doing a little bit after our Spanish lesson and pushing our Italian a few chapters further before our Italian lesson helps a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel like the lesson went much better this week, though. I think partially because we went to our lesson and then it was clear that we were a little bit behind in our Italian, so it kind of, at least for me, kind of made me realize also which things I need to work on. I feel like a ton of progress, even though I haven't really been keeping up with the Mango course, just between like this week's lessons and last week's. In Italian, like, she was like, do you have a bathroom where you live? And I was like,
oh,
yes,
no.
we do, but like all the students use it. And like I was telling her about a film that I watched in my Italian class, and was like commenting on it. I was like, oh, it's a weird film, and like that sort of thing. And it's things that I hadn't been able to do before, and just I can't think of any examples in Spanish, but it was kind of the same thing where I was starting to build more things that I could say, and we're getting to the point where we kind of have to respond in English a lot of the time, but I feel like
because we can
our tutors are using less and less English in speaking to us.
Very quick.
I'm having that sort of sinking in moment, which is helpful because I was like, oh darn, I'm falling behind in my Spanish and Italian with the start of the school year. Like, I've been doing other work and not been able to study as much, but I think things have gotten to like sink in a little bit, and it's meant that now I can kind of understand at least a bit more, even if I can't say as much as I might like to. I can kind of understand at least where the courses are going.
Oh, totally.
We just had our third Spanish lesson, and also we haven't updated in a few days just because my camera was dead. So basically the past few days we finished Unit 2 of Spanish, and I did the thing again where I wrote a journal entry once I finished. We're one chapter away from being done with Unit 2 of Italian. So I think we're probably going to do that tonight or early tomorrow, and then once again I'm going to write a journal entry and record it.
I'm feeling pretty great because the other day we were having French coffee hour, as we do, and Spanish coffee hour meets at the same time as French, and so our French professor wasn't there, and so the Spanish professor came to us and was speaking in Spanish and said, if you understand me, I will offer you drinks, essentially. And then when we understood what he was saying, and then we got to go up and order from the baristas in Spanish, and it was both very humbling and very hilarious.
We were also sent because one of the things we're doing at the end of this challenge is taking certification exams, actually, for both Spanish and Italian, so you guys can have actual, like, set levels as to how we did, and it's, like, a better experiment than our usual things where we're, like, I guess I'm, like, a B1. So we got given a thing that kind of went over the kinds of things that will be asked during an exam, which was nice just because for me, like, I like to know what I'm going into. Like, also, I've been recently thinking about taking the DELF for French, and then I looked up what the exam is, and I don't think I want to take it just because even though I know I could do it, like, it just doesn't sound like a way I want to spend 6 hours of my life. But the exam we're taking seems very, like, friendly and pretty chill, which also just seems like a more realistic way to test my language abilities. Like, it's just little things like they're gonna ask us about, like, ourselves and, like, our family and, like, what we like to do and that sort of thing.
Describe this person depicted here. And, like, that's what we did today.
Yeah, so today we worked on, like, descriptions, which is good, always handy.
I very much enjoy how, I feel like a lot of the vocabulary that sticks to me is what is introduced to us in these tutor sessions.
Me
and,
too.
like, it's good because they introduce it to you and then she will automatically test us on it. And it's like, okay, now describe Abigail with these words here.
It's been nice to keep us on schedule, too, I feel like. Like, just even the fact that we have to be there for an hour every week, it means that we have to do some mango before we get there or something in the language. Like, we have to
suffer the consequences.
We have to study of some sort. For me, it's just ended up being mango because I don't have space for textbooks here. I don't really have money to be buying textbooks, and mango's been doing fine. So I'm just, like, riding that whole, like, wave out, even though originally I was like, we're gonna use, like, a variety of resources. I'm just like, it's working for me.
It's come to the point where, like, I feel like we're too stressed to use anything other than that, and just, like, our resources
I just feel like I really want to get through the course.
So do I. I'm, like, motivated to finish it now.
Since I have little time, I've just been putting my efforts into finishing the course and for learning everything from that. And I feel like then I can buy myself an advanced book later. But for now, I just kind of want to go with the mango course. It's been working for me, and I think it's very different from ways I typically study. I also just don't do enough speaking in general just because tutors are, like, a big commitment. Like I said, I'm forced to then actually study and things. And so it's been nice to, like, actually be doing that and kind of be forced to because I committed to a challenge.
Oh, yeah. It's very much like taking a class in college. Like, oh, I signed up for this, I'm paying for it, I need to do it. And, like, I want to get the most out of this because we're being given this great opportunity. And it's like, why not do it? You gotta just do the work. And it's really good. I think it shows how, like, having something to hold you to it and, like, what's that word I'm looking for? Just an A. Accountability. It's like having that accountability. I think it really shows how it works. And, like, I think I realize this now, like, I do my best when I'm held accountable, like, with, the Add One challenge or something like that. Like, when someone's like, I have you in the palm of my hand and you must study.
Like, I think you've talked about this, too. I feel like we both are very hesitant when it comes to having, like, Skype tutors.
I just get
and
nervous.
Just kind of, like, being forced to do this. Like, not necessarily forced, but, like,
not in a bad way.
Committing to it and then being forced to then stick with it because I'm not scheduling the lessons. It's now, like, a committed, like, every Friday at this time. It's become, like, a lot less stressful, too, and I almost want to continue to do that in the future, like, maybe book, like, 10 lessons at a time.
At the same time.
Just because I feel like me knowing it's happening, I just view it as, like, another class as opposed to when I have to schedule my own lessons. I feel like then I have more time to think it over, and I'm like, I'm so busy right now. Like, it's just so stressful, but this is, like, just in my life.
Yeah, instead of
getting... It feels good. That's one thing to take away, is if you can, try to, like, block in a set period of time to speak like every single week because I think it takes away a lot of the pressure that comes with speaking. I'm recording this journal entry 6 days after I wrote it, just because I was really busy and I just kind of haven't felt really up to film myself recording something. So here it is, and I'm quite pleased with the fact that it's double the length of my last one, but I do think that there might be a few more errors in this one. Hoy es el 6 febrero 2018. Hoy no tengo una clase. Estudio cine y francés en la universidad. Vivo en la universidad en New York, pero yo soy de Connecticut. Además de francés, hablo regular alemán, hablo esperanto, no tan bien como alemán, y un poco de búlgaro, español y italiano. Estudio con Matt y con Isabel. Isabel es mi profesora de Skype. Matt, Isabel y yo hablamos de muchos temas, como el tiempo, nuestros pasatiempos y familias, y la gramática española. Creo que sé mucho español ahora que mi entrada anterior de diario. Me he estudiado francés y estudio italiano. Hoy hizo nublado. Mañana el pronóstico de tiempo dice que hará frío y nevará. No irá a pasear mañana. Cuando voy a mis clases calzaré mis botas. Me gustaría visitar un país latinoamericano como Costa Rica. Quiero hacer turismo y hablar en español. So I feel like I can say a bit more. I tried to not repeat anything from my first diary entry, and I was still able to write double the amount. But I do feel like I'm making probably more small grammatical errors. I think it's like one of those things where I know more, but it also leaves so much more room for me to make mistakes. And I'm also trying to watch my accent, but at the same time I can feel it slipping. I feel like when I progress too quickly in a language, my accent is like the first thing to fall when I don't have a lot of time to be spending with the language, which is the case for Spanish right now. I still haven't managed to get to roll my R's. It's been something I've never been able to do in my whole life. And then here is the Italian entry. I wrote this 3 days ago, which actually both of these were pretty much a month exactly after the first one. And again, this one is actually about triple the length of the other one, which was exciting. It's definitely still a bit shorter than my Spanish, but I think that's to be expected. I have mentioned quite a few times that I feel like my Italian is a little bit behind my Spanish. The courses aren't necessarily equal, so I've done a lot more Spanish than I have Italian, so it's completely normal that I'm gonna be behind in Italian. Oggi è il 9 febbraio. Oggi è venerdì. Abito in New York, ma mia famiglia abita in Connecticut. Oggi fa freddo e nevica. Dovrei studiare più italiano. Guardo cinema italiano per una classe come Miracolo in Milano. Miracolo in Milano è strano, ma mi piace la pellicola. Dovrei visitare Italia. Dovrei vedere i monumenti e le statue. Mi piacerebbe parlare italiano con persone italiane. Abito in una casa dello studente. C'è mia camera, c'è un bagno, ma lui è per tutti gli studenti. Non c'è una cucina. Domani posso studiare. Domani posso studiare in biblioteca. Posso andare a piedi perché la biblioteca è vicina dalla mia camera. Dovrei studiare italiano. Once again, I feel like my intonation is just so weird. Yeah, I have such a hard time with the pronunciation of Italian, which is something that I never really foresaw being a problem. It's not a language that I would have thought would have given me so much trouble when it comes to pronunciation. I do think I'm getting better at knowing when it's like the CH sound and when it's like a K sound, because that was kind of tripping me up for a little while, just the intricacies of all the sounds that the C makes in Italian. But still, just the intonation is very strange, and a lot of people on my last video when I said I was having trouble with it told me to kind of just take it one word at a time, but I don't know, it just feels weird, and I can mimic it well. So when I'm doing the Italian course on Mango and they say something and I say it back, I can get the ups and downs of it. But when I'm talking to my tutor, I notice that my Italian accent is like nearly gone. Like, it's definitely an extreme version even of what I was saying with Spanish, where I feel like as I try to form sentences, I lose my accent. I don't know, I just struggle with it so much, and I'm trying so hard to fix that. A lot of people know that I don't necessarily always strive to sound exactly like a native speaker. I do like to try my hardest to sound the best that I can, and at the very least, I want to sound like I'm a foreigner who learned the language, but I know what I'm doing. And I feel like currently it sounds like I don't know what I'm doing, which is, I mean, maybe a little bit true. And then I think it's also time just to give my kind of final wrap up for this video. School has made it very difficult to keep up with this challenge, and I'm pleased with how much I've managed to balance it. I'm making sure that I'm getting through several chapters before my lessons each week, and I'm going to an hour-long lesson for each language each week, which is honestly really great considering I did pretty much no language study last semester other than going to French coffee hour once a week. This has been kept up more so than I ever would have kept it up last semester or last school year, but at the same time I'm still really spending like 30 days out of a week doing Spanish and Italian study. It's like the days that I am able to do my Mango lessons. When I have my Italian cinema class, I'm exposed to language a bit, and then when I have my lessons, so Friday and Saturday. So I guess more like 4 days a week. But it's still just a very brief study, and I wish that I was able to get more of a study with it. Like, I was doing full chapters a day over break, and obviously I don't have time for that now. It's just a little bit disheartening, I guess. I'm always kind of disappointed in myself when I have less time to study languages, even though I know that it's just like a normal part of my life and it's not necessarily my fault, because I am trying to study as much as I can. I just wish that I was able to do more of it. I feel like my accents are slipping because of it, because I don't have as much time to like pick apart the way I'm saying things. But I'm trying my best to not feel super bummed out. It was nice to write these 2 entries and see that I've progressed like double the amount in a month. So pretty much we've studied for like 2 months and I've doubled the amount that I know in each of those months. And I'm really enjoying my lessons a lot, and it's really helping me feel more confident both in the languages and also just in like studying languages in general and just like being in classes in general. So I'm really happy about that, but I just wish I had more time. I'm hoping that by the next video I'll be able to write a full page in Spanish and 3/4 of a page to a full page in Italian. Feel like it's a stretch, but it's also doable, and I'm also hoping that I can figure out how the heck I can make myself sound at least something that I enjoy.
I am basically at the same place in both Italian and Spanish. I have finished Unit 2, and I have not delved much further into Unit 3, sadly. I have been very busy with school, and sadly Italian and Spanish I have not been putting as much energy towards as I would like. It's very nice being at college where I have lots of opportunities to use both Spanish and Italian, more so Spanish. At least I'm able to hear a lot of Spanish without really like even trying to. Voglio provare di parlare in italiano un po'. Non credo che potrei dire molto, ma penso, non so la parola, ma
credo che ma il mio italiano non è più pessimo che il era, as it used to be. Non so come si dice. Si lo dice. I don't know, man. But oggi sono andato al mio corso di letteratura. I'm trying to say things and I'm trying to like force myself to say things, and I feel like forcing myself into phrases isn't really working. Abigail can attest to this. I get very stressed right prior to a lesson, and this happens in a lot of situations for me, language-wise. Right before I'm about to go into a speaking situation, I like have an anxiety attack where I think I don't know anything in the language, and am like, okay, please speak with me, because I need to reassure myself that I know things. And once we're in the lesson, and like it takes me forever to remember the word hello, and then we're in the lesson and I can like function normally. And it's really interesting for me because I never like realized how big of a problem this is for me. But if I'm just comfortable and like I'm very comfortable in the lesson atmosphere, and so it's much easier, and I can like relate that to situations. But then right now, trying to force something up, I get stuck. Voy a hablar en español ahora. Y no. I'm thinking in Italian right now, so this isn't helping me, which is weird. I normally like feel like I don't have this problem, and like I always joke about it, but I'm experiencing a lot of it, which is strange for me. Pero credo que yo saber más palabras españolas. That sounds weird. Pero es verdad, esta verdad, porque, wow, pero es un problema por mí, para mí, no sé. Creo que cuando me escuchar español, puedo entender, y es más fácil a comprender y entender de que el italiano. Per ejemplo, I hate the fact that when I'm trying to speak Spanish right now and Italian, I'm like just getting totally blocked. I don't know how to give like an accurate representation of my knowledge, and I feel like me trying to just say sentences right now isn't working for me. That might sound really disingenuous, and I apologize for that. It's just I don't really know any other way around it. And I know we're talking about trying to get like clips from our lessons. I definitely want more like interactions with me, because I don't think me speaking by myself is how I use the language, and so I don't know if it's an accurate representation of me using the language. I'm not far enough where like I can express my own thoughts and beliefs without like having another person to bounce off of and respond to and like pose things to. As I'm learning, I do not know like numbers and days. That's something I just like totally blocked out while learning. But I can try to say them now. Lunedì, martedì. You can correct me while I'm doing this.
I'm doing my own thing, man. Stop dragging me into this video.
Lunedì, martedì, mercoledì, giovedì.
Yep.
Venerdì? Venerdì, thank you. Sabato e... I can say ho dimenticato, because that's accurate. Haven't been taking as many notes recently going through the course, and like in our lessons I've just been trying to like not immerse myself, but just kind of like focus more on the learning aspect and like internalizing some of it. And I am a believer that writing something down and like that mechanical aspect of it helps you internalize it, and I think that's worked for me, and that's given me like a good base in both of these languages. And it's interesting that like I feel like I've so quickly gotten very far in both of the languages, and I think that's something I'm very much surprised about, and I need to kind of put to the test a little more. What's nice is the lessons that we're having, I'm very much building off of each one as it's going forward. Like,
plurals and singulars and their endings for adjectives in Italian. Like, I can see it a bunch of times, and, like, it makes sense to me when I see it, but most of the times I'm just like, wow, Italians and their adjective endings and how it changes everything, and the agreement here is crazy. And then, like, I have a lesson with our tutor, and she can just, like, explain it once, and I'm like, well, that makes perfect sense. Obviously, that's how it is. And why that's the case for me, I don't really know. But that's how it is, so cool. We hope that you have enjoyed episode 3. We realize that this doesn't have as much content, and we will definitely try to combat that. It just has been more hectic being at school, as opposed to the other 2, which were kind of made while we were still at home, and now we're trying to balance schoolwork and this challenge as well, which Abigail's been treating it as a school class, which has really been working well for her, and I think I need to try that. And if you would like to take part in the challenge, please look at the links in the description. And yes, please do subscribe. We hope you are enjoying VEDF. We are pretty much nearing the end, and we're going pretty strong so far.
We're only halfway done.
We're only halfway done, and we're going strong so far. Will we make it is the grand question of things. What do you think? Place your bets as to if we'll have a video every day this month. Please don't. That would hurt our feelings, because we know what you all think. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.
This whole challenge is based on the linguistic idea that the similarities between languages of the same family will help you to reach an intermediate high level more effectively and efficiently. So we basically were given a few ideas as to the challenge before beginning it. We could have done Germanic families, Slavic. We were thinking about going with some Asian languages at first as well, and we both eventually decided on Spanish and Italian, but we were going to throw Portuguese into the mix as well. Right now I'm going to give you guys a little rundown of Mango languages and the actual courses over there, so if you want to join us along in this challenge, you actually can. So right now I'm on the Mango homepage and just showing a list of the languages that they currently offer, and they are still adding to this list. They are working on more courses as we speak. I just wanted to show off this example of Mango languages because I feel like this shines through best with languages with a more difficult grammar, because as we can see, the colors coordinate to where the word is in the sentence, or if the word appears at all. So like wa here doesn't appear, but neither does the ka, just it's a question mark. But you can kind of see how all of this coordinates, and then you can have a literal translation where all of these line up together. And so I feel like these are very helpful for me, and it just allows me to have a very visual experience with the language and really get a feel for the grammar and memorize where these words go and kind of internalize it as I go along. Something else that I really find unique about Mango is the fact that they have cultural notes in, I would say, every chapter has at least a few, and I find this really great because I think it's kind of the part that you get from language classes in real life that I feel a lot of online resources lack. Definitely give the challenge a shot if you think you would be interested in it. Try it with whatever language families you like. We are currently doing the Romance Challenge, and that is what they would like to challenge you with as well, so I wish you luck if you decide to join us. Thank you guys. We'll see you next time.